Welcome to the See the Good podcast. I'm Mark Clark, your host, and I'm excited today to have with me Helen Whitaker. And she's, I believe, this year president of the International Association of Opticians. You run the Secure Vision uh, mobile clinic, as well as you have your training that you do, and we're going to unpack a bunch of that and dive into it as well as I really want to hear about Honduras and the work that you do there. Um, but but first of all, just to kind of bring our audience into who Helen is, and so you live in Canada, but you don't have a Canadian accent. So explain your background to us.
Oh my, okay. Um, so I am an immigrant. I'm a landed immigrant. I came to Canada in 2007 from the UK with my two little girls, Jade and Beth, and they were 7 and 8 years old at the time. And it was quite the story, Mark. I don't want to bore you to tears, but it was one of those kind of life-changing situations. I had applied for permanent residency of Canada. I'd long wanted to be a part of that community in that country. And it came through, and we went on our adventure. And so that's how I landed there. But a little story about why Powell River, because that's where I currently live on the west coast of BC. And because I'd got the permanent residency status, I could go anywhere in Canada, and I didn't really know where we were going to go. So I closed my eyes and I put my finger on the map, and it landed on Powell River. And 3 days later, I got on a plane, and this community just welcomed me with open arms. And that's my story. I've been in and out of Powell River, but this is my home. I'm here forever now.
Wow. Wow, that's crazy. I wouldn't I wouldn't have guessed that for a million years. And so you brought with you over to this side of the pond. You're drinking tea today. Is that correct?
I am. I'm drinking tea. I am a coffee drinker too, though. It's rubbed off on me. But I came over with my two little gals, young ladies now, and I'm now a part of a blended family. I got remarried. I have two wonderful sons. So four adult kids. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
Enjoying Canadian life.
And what's the proper way to drink tea? What goes in it?
Oh, you're kidding me. Okay, well, there's an aside here. I'm from Yorkshire in the UK, and we have rules in Yorkshire.
Yeah,
And we have
I
rules
know.
about tea, and we have rules about Yorkshire pudding, and lots of very strange things. But tea, okay. So it goes in a teapot, and the teapot has to be warmed, and the teapot has to be warmed with a teapot cozy, which is normally a woolen item knitted by your grandma that pops over the top of the teapot and keeps it warm. And in that teapot go one tea bag for each person. So if the three people having tea, three tea bags. Fill it up with boiling water, leave it for 2 minutes, pour it into your cup onto the milk that's already there. And then you're ready to drink your tea.
Wow. Okay. So just straight up milk in there, and that's it, huh?
That's it. Very few Yorkshire people put sugar in their tea or honey or anything like that. It's just Yorkshire tea, and there is actually a company called Yorkshire Tea, and it's delicious. And it's the only tea that everyone should be drinking. It should be actually a crime to drink anything else.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I've learned I've learned a bunch so far, and what what I really wanted to start diving into is some of your work and your work in Honduras. And you said something to me the other day that everybody who goes kind of figures out a way to pay their own way to go on these mission trips. It's a mission trip to Honduras. There's different groups doing different things, and you go with the group that does vision care.
Yeah.
And um, and so you had said something about your school, that revenue is what goes into um, making the trip happen. And so tell us a little bit about your training institute that you do, and then from there we'll dive into Honduras.
Oh, Mark, I love that you're giving me that opportunity. So I developed my own mobile optical business back in 2018 to enable my community of Powell River and other areas to receive equitable and, affordable, high quality eyewear. And that business model became so successful for me personally, I had to share. So I developed a digital training package which takes you on a journey. It's called the Leap Protocol, and it basically develops you your own blueprint to have your own mobile optical business for your community and to serve the people that you truly wish to serve, whether it's seniors, whether it's children, whether it's low vision, whether it's safety, right? You choose your niche. But that blueprint is more or less evergreen, and it I put a lot of work into it and a lot of business planning, because a business is only really profitable and sustainable when you deliver on your promise. So you've
Yeah,
really got to do what you say you're going to do. And you have to keep the community or whoever your niche client, patient is, you have to keep them at the heart of the business. If you don't, it will not work. It just
right.
won't. So that business model has helped over 30 businesses across the US and Canada. It is it's an accredited program in Canada, which means it gets you education points for continuing education. Now, what I'm doing moving forward, because it's been so useful, not just for my clients, but for me, because it's evolved and changed and has been rewritten by the students, if you like, based on what they need. What I'm doing with it now is ensuring that 100% of the profit from people that partake in this, and it's $550 for the 10-week digital course, 100% of the profit goes towards supporting me, my daughter, any other optician that I can afford to take, to literally go and work in central Honduras every year for that first week of February, where we see, I want to say upwards of 2,000 people, giving them the gift of sight. And that's what we actually do. So that's what it does for me and my team.
That's amazing. You have so many things going on, and I've kind of known about some of them, and I didn't have a lot of the backstory. And I would see you online. I'm like, oh my gosh, Helen, she's just so busy. She's in everything. And then to find out how it's all tied together and this work that you're doing in Honduras is quite amazing. Tell us how you stumbled across this work in Honduras and how you got involved.
Okay. So 3 years ago, there was a Facebook post, probably on, I want to say Opticians on Facebook, one of the big optician groups, and it was from the Virginia Medical Brigade asking for volunteers. And at the time, my business was successful, the coaching was successful, and I thought, what a wonderful way to utilize your skill set and your love for the profession, doing what we truly love. When we're having those days at home where we get paid, where you're having those days where it's filled with people that make your heart sing, how cool if you could go do that in another part of the world and literally create change someone's destiny. And I say that with conviction because that's what you do. So I applied and got through and went on my first mission, and it was amazing. We were in very remote areas of Comayagua, central Honduras, using lines club glasses, basically taking portable refraction kits up mountains, cross riverbeds, you name it, up and down little meandering streets, to provide that immediate access to eye care that people just don't get there. No healthcare, nothing. So what it did for me was open my eyes to how that simple act of and to be honest, a real basic refraction at that time, that simple act of performing that and putting on a donated pair of glasses with the best fit could literally send someone to school. It
Yeah.
could get them out of working from a field at 8, 9 years old and thinking that's all you're good for, to sitting in class learning math and
Yeah.
potentially becoming a school teacher. And 3 years on, we have stories where that happened. Or
Wow.
it could be that, the guy looking after his entire family, and at a guesstimate in his late 90s or even 100,
Wow.
still maintaining his farm equipment to feed his family and not
Wow.
being able to do it because now he can't see. And a simple pair of +3 readers makes him get on the floor and ask me to marry him, right? Just, and that happened. But just changing lives. So that got into my heart, and that's why I do it every year.
Amazing. Amazing. And so I assume like some translators go with you, or how does that work?
Right. So, I've been so guilty. Every year I promise I'm going to learn Spanish every year. And it's not my forte. Languages are not my forte. I'm from Yorkshire. What can I say? There's only one language. That's Yorkshire. I'm kidding. But basically, we are so lucky because the grade 12 students of the schools in the area are phenomenal linguists, and they want to practice their English, and they volunteer their time
Oh
when
my
it's
gosh.
holiday time off school. They come every day for the whole day and translate for us. And the relationships we've built with these young people is phenomenal. And we see them go on to university and become wonderful, wonderful members of their community that they wish to serve. Yeah, so
That's
we're very
yeah,
lucky there.
that's amazing. I went to a really small town school. I was fortunate to learn both English, Yorkshire, and Canadian. Um, but um, but I just it's interesting how these other countries and their schooling is such that they're trying to help these students, learn a more universal language and help them, advance and then, you know, s- some of them can't see
Yeah.
and what a limiting factor that is in their education and in their lives. And you had said something about that area is an area that the roads get wiped out
Mm.
is it the spring or the winter time?
In the rainy season, in the winter time, some of the mountainous regions become completely isolated. So they become, well, they're self-sufficient communities that never come down unless the road is rebuilt or has survived. So we did navigate. I wish I could remember the name of the village, but we navigated up one particular road and had to choose another road on the way down. It was
Wow.
literally that precarious. Um, but a fascinating insight into survival,
Yeah.
and community, how a community can sustain itself by nurturing and caring and actually providing for each other with whatever they've actually got.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is and so there do they have like they're kind of close to the equator, right? So that's like rainy season and hot season, and that's it for them typically.
Oh, that's a really good question because I've only ever gone in February and it's hot.
Yeah.
The first time I went was very hot, and that was kind of the introduction to working in 100-degree temperatures. 6 days on the trot, 12-hour days. You're dirty, you're sweaty, you're smelly, but boy, you're having fun, right?
Yeah.
Um, But the rainy season, when would that? That's got to be. I don't want to say and get it wrong, but it's probably going to be through our summertime, like July and August, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, is it kind of jungle in that area, or is it what? And do you have to get any type of vaccines or anything before you go?
Right. So the cities tend to be so Comayagua and Tegucigalpa are in bowls with mountains around them. So as we go up into the mountains, yes, it's jungle, most definitely. It's very beautiful. It's incredible bird life, incredible views and vistas. And it's coffee. It's coffee land.
Oh yeah,
So right. So some
I'm
of
in
the some
now.
of
Now I'm in. You
right.
said my word.
Oh, oh gosh, it was sensational. The last trip we went on, Mark, we went to a village that's not been served before, which was this incredible coffee area where all the farmers were at that time they were laying out all the coffee beans to roast in the sun, literally just on dried leaves, just out whatever flat area they've got on the roof, on the road surface. And everyone wants to give you coffee. Everyone wants to make you coffee. You know, it's the most delicious, I suppose. Is it as good as Yorkshire tea? I think it's getting up there. It's getting up there.
Wow.
Yeah. So it is jungle. In the city, it's very polluted. It's very hot. It's very industrial. The air quality is poor. So you go prepared for that transition, if you like, and you go prepared for it'll be whatever it'll be. Sometimes the truck doesn't work. Sometimes you're waiting on the side of a road for an hour for another truck. That kind of thing. So it's
Wow.
very, very dynamic.
And what kind of industry is in there in the city?
There's a lot. There seems to be a lot of heavy industry. There's an awful lot of pollution. So a lot of heavy mechanical industry, that kind of thing. Um, I'm not entirely sure what the predominant industry would be there. I do know that it's very densely populated places like Tegucigalpa, Comayagua not so much, but the bigger cities for sure are where people migrate to for actual work if they're struggling to support their families outside of there. Yeah, so it
Yeah.
tends to get very overloaded, very impoverished, that kind of thing, high crime rate. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of as you're describing it. I had made a trip to Papua New Guinea, and outside the city, very jungle, very cut off. Inside the city, a little more high crime. But lots of bars over windows and
Mm.
fences and gates around everything, and we were fortunate to stay in what they called mission housing. So anybody there
Right.
doing mission type work would stay in this mission housing behind a closed gate. And then there were actually like guards that were out there all night. They would build a little campfire and sit out there all night long to watch the gate and watch the fence while we rested inside without much of a care while they took care of all that. I mean, a lot of it was just petty crime. I mean, if you didn't lock something, it was immediately stolen and taken or repurposed. And um,
Poverty will do that. Will do that to all of us, right? It's
yeah,
necessity. If you have children to feed, if you have a family to feed, this is that's just unfortunate
yeah,
how poverty manifests itself. We're all human beings. Where we are, we do get looked after. It's, as I say, it was initially the Virginia Medical Brigade. It's now volunteering for Honduras communities, and all the volunteers are very well looked after. We are safe. We have drivers. We got the military last year from the military academy
oh
who
wow,
came along and just gave us a present, and these wonderful young people in their gorgeous uniforms all piled onto our bus, and we felt very important. And everywhere we went, we were met with such love
Yeah.
and joy. It was just wonderful. To be honest, it was a big party bus, and those
Yeah.
soldiers were just amazing, absolutely amazing. Great senses of humor, joined in, did whatever they were asked to do. Yeah,
Amazing.
fantastic.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a really strong sense of community over there. So what's like the highest um power refraction that maybe you guys had come across during a clinic?
Ooh. So one that sticks out is a little girl. I can see her now, and it was -16, so she basically couldn't see the lines on her hands,
Yeah.
right? Um, and I think she was about 8,
Oh
and
wow.
she wasn't in school, Mark. She worked with her family in the field. She did very simple picking jobs and like run around jobs on the farm for what she was safe to do, because obviously her environment was very small of what she could do. So we did actually managed to get a frame that we thought would possibly work for her, and then we had lenses made back in Canada. It probably wasn't the best use of our funds, but it was the immediate solution at the time. And then she received her glasses about 2 months after our visit. The challenge we face is the follow up of that, and the fulfillment is there, but the follow up to ensure she's actually been able to work with that vision.
Yeah.
And maybe we could have done a titrated journey for her. The opticians watching this will understand and be shaking their heads. If you've not never had any vision correction and you're that
Yeah.
level, and then you put that correction on, it's going to be overwhelming,
Yeah.
right? So there's challenges ahead for us, and we're trying to find different ways of tackling that.
Yeah. Yeah. I and maybe it's my own internal fears, but where my brain goes, and I'm only like a -8, but where my brain goes is, oh my gosh, are there snakes in that country? Because I couldn't imagine going out into a field and trying to pick things and not be able to see more than like, I mean, your focal distance is only a few
Yeah,
millimeters when you're -16. Like you're not gonna
yeah,
really see something clearly till it's in your face. And um,
yeah.
I just can't imagine being in a jungle-like area and not have my sight, and not
And
see well.
well, absolutely. But just think, if you have no choice, you've got to contribute to the family. What do you think's happened? We had this conversation with the family. You're given six, you beat the ground. Wherever you go,
Oh my
you beat the
goodness.
ground, because the noise and the vibration scares the creatures away, right? And that's what you do.
Oh
So it's
my.
not it's like a variation on a stick for the blind. Instead of letting people know you're blind, you're actually telling the animals to get the heck out of your way,
Oh
right?
my gosh.
And yeah, I saw
That's,
that done in Kenya too. That's exactly what you do in Kenya, in Nairobi.
oh my word.
Yeah.
I don't have like a specific fear, but I grew up in northern Michigan, kind of like Canada, and there's like almost nothing to worry about. Like
So,
almost nothing that harms you in any way. Maybe a certain type of spider or two, you shake your shoe out, but I mean, that just sends chills up my spine to think about walking through jungle places, not being able to see, and just relying on a stick and beating the ground.
yeah.
Um, and then, at best, when you guys go, you're taking some Lions Club classes and you're trying to get them as close as you can. And, anybody who's listening who's even -3 or 4, and how limiting that is in your life, you know, and then you get up a little higher and you can't even see to find your glasses. And
Yeah.
that limiting feeling, and then being in, where nature might be a little hostile. Fortunately, it's not. in most parts of our world that hostile. And when I first moved to Kentucky, I thought I was going to see a snake every day. I was scared to death. I was like, I was carrying a pistol with rat shot. I thought I was going to see a snake every day. And then after a while, I was like, there's not that many of them, I guess. But
Well, you know what? It's all about adapting to your environment. And the wonderful thing about nature is that all these creatures, not one of them wants anything to do with us. Not one of them. They do not want us. So as long as we make that noise and make it clear that we're there, they'll scarp us. And I compare it to where I am on the west coast of Canada, Mark. We have black bear everywhere.
oh
And,
yeah,
I have one walk down the street every night, literally, and he's the size of a sofa. And I don't want to come face to face with him when he's hungry and he's getting ready to, batten down the hatches for winter because he's hungry and he's going to eat whatever's in his path. Um, but you just know what to do. You
right.
bang your pants and you know, you sing when you're walking in the trails and all of that. So it's a challenge. But back to that young lady, it was as simple as she had a very small area to work in on the farm because that was her safe zone where her family had cleared the danger spots, the rubble, the rock. But it
Oh
makes for a
wow.
very small environment, doesn't it, to be in? And suddenly you have this opportunity if we could have followed up and with the right titration, perhaps, you have an opportunity to keep making those concentric rings wider and wider for that particular environment. And
Yeah.
then life can become pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you think of how small your world becomes. I mean, first of all, just because you can't see very far, um, but then, how far it is that you can go and how safe it is for you. You can't see far, and then you can't even go far, and um, it,
Mhm.
you don't. I've never really thought about how limiting the terrain could be and the dangers
Mhm.
that you could have, and it we use the word in a metaphorical way when we talk about being myopic, but really how
Mhm.
small it can make these people's world when they can't see. And so it's really just some
Mhm.
amazing, fantastic work. And I'm so thankful that you were willing to come on and I could take some time to let you tell this story and let our audience know about this because for these people, it is really life changing. And it's interesting, just, the last several episodes, I've had people on the podcast who have encountered uh, several different situations where, their eyesight deteriorating and not finding the help they needed here in the US, even
Mhm.
um, ended up kind of in a life of crime and going downhill and ended up in prison and
Yeah.
um, you know, with all of the resources and opportunities we have here in the US, to think about how limiting it must be in some of these other countries. And so I'm so grateful for the work that you do, and I'm so happy that we had this chance that I could highlight this. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to hearing more about your trip, and maybe we'll have another episode after your trip, and you can fill us all in with everything that's gone on, and I'd love to see some photos sometime. That would be awesome.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Mark. And I got to say that the team that we have, that I'm just a very small cog in the wheels of this wonderful machine, and the team we have are sensational, from our optometry team to our nurses, to our opticians, to our rehab team. They're all incredible individuals, all volunteering their time and their energy and their knowledge
Yeah,
and their passion for what they do so well every day in their normal life, you know?
right,
And
right.
and I will be taking photos galore again, and I'd love to share what we've achieved so far. It's only going to get better, especially with help from people like you
Yeah,
and
yeah,
spreading the word and helping us through caroling.
yeah.
Seriously, all of it is incredible, and we're very grateful.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Hope you have a great weekend, Helen.
Thank you. You too.